Yo, it's the 1409 podcast. I go by the name of KT. Welcome to episode 97. We have a special guest in here tonight. She's an author, a speaker, CEO of Maximum Evolution out of New York, straight out of New York. At that, welcome Chanel Spencer to the 1409. How you doing, man?
Hello, beautiful people. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be here with you. So I'm ready to make this happen.
You ready to make this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we gonna see. Yeah. All right. So we got a little intro out of the way, but we're gonna get more into it. Before we get any further, let's get into the shot. You know, we take a shot every episode. I don't know what I did with that bottle.
Are we taking a real shot or are we taking a baby shot?
I mean, I don't peer pressure anybody. I just don't know what I did with it. Oh, there it is. It's right here. It's right here. I found it. You pull whatever you like. I ain't gonna judge you.
Listen, this is a judgment-free atmosphere, right?
Yeah, just don't pour like 1 milliliter.
No, it's like a baby shot. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. What we doing cheers to? I'll let the guests do the cheers on this one.
We're cheersing to life, to the next level of life, to having a life of abundance and just being in the now action and taking over and being exactly who you want to be. So cheers to that.
Being who you want to be. Cheers. Cheers to that. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got the shot out the way. Now we're gonna do a little trivia.
Mm-hmm.
So you from New York, right? What's up, Legacy Blue? I see you in here. What part of New York? I tried to find out what borough you from, but you never said. You from all 5 boroughs?
Why you trying to come for me though? I'm from all 5 boroughs. No, I am. So I was born and raised in the Bronx. And then I lived in Yonkers for a little bit, but now I am upstate New York.
Upstate.
And I worked in the city since I was like 15.
You upstate like Yonkers or something?
Yonkers is definitely not upstate. Yonkers is like on a good day, if you take the train, like 20 minutes from the city. So that's not really upstate. But to you, that would be upstate.
All right. Speaking of the city, my trivia question is, what's the largest borough by size?
Oh my gosh, the largest borough?
Yeah.
I want to say Queens.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And you said you from which borough?
The Bronx.
The Bronx. Okay. I like the Bronx. I rock with the Bronx. They got some good food over there. Good Jamaican food. You know what I'm saying?
You already know the vibe.
I can't remember where the place is at, but I knew it was good when I was younger. They got that over there. Okay. So let's hear 3 things people may not know about you. 3 things about yourself that people may not know about you.
One, that my parents are from England and my grandparents are from Jamaica. I have a 14-year-old. And what else? I have the other thing and I don't remember. Yeah, he's 14. I know everybody thinks I'm like 11, but I'm really not though.
I did research and he was 13 when I was doing the research, so he must have just had a birthday.
Yes, his birthday. He turned 14 in February.
Okay, yeah.
And what else? I guess like what I like to do. I love food. I love Thai food and Italian food.
Thai food and Italian food. I don't think I ever had Thai food. I might need to add that to my little list.
Oh my gosh, it is the best.
What's your favorite Thai dish?
I like basil. So they do like a basil sauce and you can add like your protein to it. And I do shrimp basil. And then they do these curry puff appetizers. Oh my gosh, it is so good. And I actually have pad Thai in Thailand and it was so good, but I don't love pad Thai.
You was in Phuket, Bangkok?
So I went to Bangkok and spent the day, and then we flew to Phuket and then we stayed for 5 or 6 days and then we left.
Oh, that was an eventful trip right there. That was you got to stay out there long because it's a long flight. It's like it's out there. It's way out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I see why you would be there that many days. Did you get bored in those days?
I did. I'm like a 4 or 5 day kind of girl because I like to be out and about and be active. So by like the third day, I was like, well, what other country can we go that's nearby? But the flights like skyrocketed by the time we blinked. So I was looking at Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, and there was another, Korea, sorry, and there was another location that we wanted to go to, but the flights disappeared or they skyrocketed. So we stayed our little selves in Thailand. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's a little bit more? Let's get into a little bit more about yourself. You say you're from New York. What like
Mm-hmm.
schools and everything like?
So I went to Evander High School. I went to Rutgers for a little while and then I dipped. I enjoyed it socially, but didn't enjoy it academically at all. And then I came back to the lovely city of New York. And then I'm more focused on my career. So I had my son, and then I was doing school and part-time work, and then I flipped it. So I was like, I need to get to the bag. And so my goal was to be like a controller or a CFO for a company. And then I ended up shifting gears and became a general manager for a hotel by the time I was 30 here in New York City. And since then, I resigned from the position to focus on my company full time. So I was like, I'm giving 14 to 18 hours a day to somebody else's dream, building somebody else's like, yeah, it was nonstop. Like, I'm like getting chills thinking about how much I dedicated myself to building somebody else's company. And so I just got kind of fed up. So I resigned, which then shifted me to focusing on building my company, Maximum Evolution. And since then, I'm a 14-time author. I published 6 books last year and currently working on 4 more as we speak. And I have my own podcast as well. And I'm now relaunching my TV show, and I'm part owner of a TV network. And I'm just working on a bunch of other things, a magazine, just to add a visibility piece to my company. But my main focus is helping women to develop their business for sure.
We're gonna get into all that for sure. So with Maximum Evolution, what's the?
Yeah.
I know you said it's helping women. It's create a seat at their own table, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
So how do you go about creating a seat at your own table? How do you go about getting your own table?
Right. So oftentimes we are like dedicated to being on others or allowing others to provide opportunities for ourselves. So I'm very big on building our own table and then providing opportunities for others. Right. So the main focus of Maximum Evolution is to help women to brand and develop their business, whether it's you want to be an author, whether it's you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever your vision is, we help to bring it to fruition. So I'm very big on branding as well as helping you to strategize to build an empire for yourself.
Strategize.
Mm-hmm.
I see you out here putting on for the women. You know, it's Women History Month, so I got shout out to the women out here for real. Y'all doing your thing out here, so
yes,
it's only right. Our first 2 episodes of the month are women. Most of our episodes are women, I think. So I don't know
because we're a whole vibe. It's just
yeah,
we don't mind.
I don't mind. Yeah, you don't mind. I don't mind. They don't mind. We don't mind. Yeah. So, what are some of the steps you had to take to really make this business happen? What was some of the beginning processes of it?
So as I mentioned before, I was more focused on building my career. And so at first, Maximum Evolution was more focused on just like part-time efforts. So I did like speaking engagements here and there. I was a co-author in several books to build my author portfolio. And I was more focused on my own personal development so that I could then become the CEO, which actually with my career, yes, I was in the hospitality industry for 10 years, but it literally helped me to become who I am today and to be able to navigate my own business. As being a general manager, you're like the CEO of the building. So I had to take care of sales, I had to take care of revenues, I had to take care of engineering, housekeeping, accounting,
75 employees.
Yeah.
You had to take care of 75 employees.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And to be very honest, it helps me now in managing clients and understanding that everybody learns differently and there are so many different personalities, because I would be in front of the room and having a conference or like a meeting with the staff, and everybody perceived anything that I said in 70 different ways. So I would have to have follow-up conversations to reiterate or to teach or whatever it was, because maybe somebody didn't perceive it the right way or didn't understand what I was saying. So it helped me to manage people. And that's like the biggest piece of having your own company and having clients and having customers. You have to know how to manage different personalities, different types of people, different people with backgrounds and all that other good stuff. So it helped me substantially.
So some people interpret it like the same. You said the same thing to one person and to another person. Some people perceived it as rude. Some people perceived it as
no, not even in a perception in how I communicated it, but the understanding of it, right? So like, say we were working on a capital project. I was doing 3 renovation projects at one time. So we were changing out all the guest room furniture. We were doing facade work and then working on the exterior. So I had to explain, okay, these are the steps that we're going to take. This is what's happening. And so somebody gets confused as to what's happening, what the action plan is, why it's happening. So then having to kind of reiterate or go about it in a different way or have separate meetings so that everybody can be all on the same page or address any concerns that someone may have, because there might have been a language barrier or they just didn't understand, because, you know, everybody has different mindsets, right? So they don't care that we're down $1 million. They just know that they want to raise, right? So it's just handling different mindsets and different capacities, honestly.
All right, so you was doing the entrepreneurship right before you quit in the hospitality, or you just jumped right out there, right? You was doing it part-time, right?
So I was doing it part-time, and then what happened was I realized my life was just dwindling mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. Yes, I was making money, but it wasn't enough for what the cost was of my life, right? And so one time I was in England and it was budget season, and it was also month end, so like the accounting, closing the books for the month, and I didn't get to do. By 5:30 is when I wrapped up my day from working, but I had my daughter and my sister, and they're just looking at me like, so can we do something now? And I was just like, this is ridiculous, because it wasn't inexpensive for me to go to England, you know what I mean? And I felt like I was letting them down because I was putting work first. And so I was just fed up. I was dealing with sexual harassment. I was dealing with discrimination. I was dealing with being underpaid. I felt like I wasn't supported. I felt like I wasn't respected as being a Black woman. I was the only woman general manager in New York City for the company. And then I had to deal with people in being Black and just being rude or just being demeaning, or, you know what I mean? So it just was there were so many things that coupled me just being like, all right, I'm fed up. Like, I'd rather just take my time and energy and really just focus on building my own platform, but also not just for myself, but for those that are coming behind me and those that are around me as well. Because in me being a GM, I saw so many people that were like, you're the GM? I thought you were the guest service agent. I thought you were this, right? And it inspired so many other people to understand that they can achieve their dreams as well. And so that showed me, like, you know what, let me show you even better. That was a small portion of what I could do. You know what I mean? So I resigned. They offered me $20K more and gave me the raise I wanted. And then they gave me a $23K bonus. And I still was like, I'm good. There was nothing they could have done to make me stay, to be very honest.
I don't need you.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna bet on myself. I'm gonna choose myself. I'm gonna put myself first for once. So, yeah.
So people's in there judging you off your appearance. You looked real young out there, so they're judging you, thinking you was another position at that company.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, can you check us in?" I'm like, "I can check you in, but I'm gonna get a guest service agent." "Oh, well, what do you do?" "Oh, you're the GM." Yeah. Or, you know what I mean? Or like construction workers would come in, like the head of, like, the CEOs of construction companies would come in, and they were like, "Can you get the GM, please?" And I'm like, I am the GM. And they're like, "Oh." Or in conversations, they'll try to, like, not necessarily ignore me, but like try to be demeaning. And I'm like, no, I know what I'm talking about. Pull out my Excel spreadsheets, pull out numbers, pull out the action plan. They're like, oh yeah, like, don't sleep on me. But if you want to, I'll show you better than I can tell you.
Shout out to Gualame's World, and he's still in the comments, even though he's handling other work right now, but he's in his spirit. He's in here in the comments, the co-host. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think the most challenging part of your line of work is that you currently do?
Honestly, it's the mindset is the most challenging part. And also the client management is the most challenging part. Because, as I said, you know, people have different expectations when they do a transaction and think that you are their employer or that you are their employee, I should say. And so those are the two challenging parts, to be very honest. You have to be, when I say mindset, you have to be continually learning and wanting to grow and evolve yourself in a mental state. Because there's always something that you need to learn. There's always ways that you need to shift, and there's always ways that you need to be better. So for me, I would say it was the mindset shift from employee to CEO, but then also understanding that, people are paying dollars, and so their expectation is through the roof. But sometimes it's like, but you didn't pay that much dollars for you to get, you know what I'm saying? So like managing, like, yeah, you pay me coin, but we didn't drop like five figures. Like, let's calm down. Right. But I appreciate every single dollar that I've ever made. And anyone that has supported my dreams, 150%.
150. So you feel like you have to approach them based off how their personalities are, or you think they need to approach you differently, like based off expectations?
So some people are set in their ways, right? So because I have an HR background and because I have a customer service background, it's really easy for me to gather people professionally, right? So sometimes you just have to remind people in the positive and smiling way to like calm down. Like, this is what we discussed. I'm very organized and I'm very clear. And I like to over communicate so that there's no shade of gray. There's no area of confusion. So if there ever is, I have my backup immediately. Like, oh, okay, well, we discussed this on 2/26 and we did this on January 21st or whatever, to cover myself, but also to make sure that we're on the same page. So I've never had to get out of pocket with anybody, and I would never allow anybody to bring me to that space, because at the end of the day, my business is big off of word of mouth and referrals. So I'm always going to want to exceed my clients' expectations, regardless of how I may feel about the individual.
So are you big on like paperwork with these clients, like accountability, like legal documents and thing, or how do you
So I have contracts depending on the level of service that I'm providing to you. I have contracts. Anything that's like less than $9.97, I don't necessarily have a contract, but I have everything in writing so that it's clear, and I provide lead times for everything so that I'm very big on the shade of gray, because you're not going to come back and be like, well, you said this, and I'm like, please show me where, right? Because I just like to cover all my bases. But again, it's because of my corporate life where I've always had to be on 10, and then my margin of error, my room for error was no percent. So I always had to be 10 steps ahead of any and everybody and have a resolution to a problem that I didn't know existed. So it's helped me now in how I handle my business in general.
All right, I like that. You on point with the make sure all angles are covered out here. I feel you. That
Yes.
You got to be like that. You got to have that paperwork.
Yes.
People gonna try to play with you, and they don't need to be playing with you
all day.
All day. I'm trying to put my New York out. How'd I do? Not good.
Do it again.
All day.
All day. All day.
All day.
All day.
All day. All right.
That was better.
All right. So, what was the most challenging thing that you had to overcome in life?
Myself, honestly. I've been my own worst enemy, my own worst critic. I had a lot of self-worth and self-value things that I had to navigate through. So I went through therapy when I was younger, but I got a life coach, and she helped me substantially through like forgiveness. I was in an abusive relationship for like 4 years of my life when I was in my late teens, early 20s. I just ended a 9-year relationship. I was engaged, and I was like, it's been real, but no, thank you. In a nice way. Yeah. So I feel like it was myself has been the most challenging thing that I had to overcome, to shift my mindset, to relearn and let go of the things that were essentially holding myself back from a mindset perspective, but also the people that I surrounded myself with.
All right, shifting in mind. That sounds like some Paradigm shifting, huh?
Can you stop playing? Because that's the one. That's the name of one of my books, Warriors
Warriors
Paradise.
Paradigm.
That's exactly like
Hey, I know about you.
you
I
hit
know
it
about
right on the nose. Like,
Hey, I know about you.
yes, paradigm shift. Absolutely,
I know what's going
absolutely.
on. I might not look like I know what's going on. I know what's going
No,
on.
I know. I can tell. Trust me.
Hey, I know what's going on out here.
Literally why I named that. I titled that book Warriors Paradigm for that exact, like literally you just said it. So that's crazy. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, shit. Well, shit. What was the process like? Getting that book together. I know you have many books, but let's talk about that one specifically.
So that was the first book under my own publishing company. So I created a separate entity for my book publishing because I knew that I was going to have multiple books that I was going to publish under my name. So I just wanted to have something for them to fall under in building my empire. So it was daunting. Like, oh my gosh, like I was in 7 or 8 books by then, but from a co-author standpoint. And so, like I said, I put the pressure on myself with any and everything that I do from a perfection standpoint, to the point that I was just like, I just have to let it go. Like I had like it edited by like 3 or 4 different people. I had it proofread. I just went through so much. I changed the cover twice. I changed the title. It was actually going to be The Vessel. And I changed it to Warriors Paradigm. And it's a process. It's a grueling process. But when I got the book in my hand, please hold on. I get that for you. When I got the book in my hand, I was like, oh my gosh, look.
Yeah, I know you got it on you. I know you got it on you.
Right? When I got the book in my hand, it felt so rewarding. But it is a process. So you have to do your writing, for sure, have your chapters in place to outline the foundation. And then once that's done, you have to bring it to editing. You have to get it formatted, and then you have to publish it and get your cover done. And then I do video trailers for every book that I release, and the marketing piece as well. So it's a process, but it's a rewarding process for sure.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your baby right there. You feel like that book right there is your baby. It's the first one under your publishing company.
Yeah, and then I wrote 3 like in less than 90 days after that.
Oh, man, you putting in that work.
So I did 2 anthology. I hate the anthology, but I did 2 collaborative projects where I had 18 authors on one and then 17 on the other. One was Our Truth Is Not a Lie, and that was pretty much where I had 17 authors talking about the Black experience in America, which I really talked about my corporate experience and my trauma that I felt that I suffered. And I actually dedicated that book to Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And then I did The Evolution Effect, and we talked about how we transformed our lives to step into our greatness. And I had 19 other authors on that, sorry. And then I wrote Maximum Evolution, Transform from Victim to Warrior, where I talked about how I transformed and the steps that you need to take to really transform your life and be who you want to be in this world. So, yeah.
Oh man, you doing it big out here. So that was gonna be my next question. Do you have other authors' books published under you, but you have other authors in the books as a collaboration?
Mm-hmm.
So do you have like books with just other authors that you publish under your company as well? Or?
Yes. So I was trying to stay way away from from book publishing from a client perspective, but because of how the people that were on the projects that I did for the collaboration projects, they loved how I executed the project overall, so they wanted to work with me. So I do it as an additive to your brand versus I go to look for book publishing companies. Does it make sense? So if you're my client and you're like, oh, I want to do this and that, I can help you to add it to the package that you already have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it make plenty sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go back a little bit. Let's backtrack a little bit. What are some of the pros and cons of self-employment?
So the pros, time freedom. I don't think I could ever go back to working for anybody. Like I really don't. Like I'm like the way I can like set up my day the way I want to, and the way that I'm able to be way more present for my children. I could never go back. So time freedom for sure. Being able to do what I'm passionate about. So it doesn't feel like work. So when I say I have things to get done, I hate to say I have work to do because it doesn't feel like work to me. So I say I have productivity to get done or something. I use a different word. Those are the pros for me. Time for sure is number one. The cons is time because you
the pros is time and the cons is time. Damn.
Why? Because you set your own schedule. So if you're just like, well, I don't feel like it today, you don't have to. But then it could be 3 months later and you didn't feel like it, right? So that's a little bit. That's a major con, like the procrastination piece of it. If you don't make the decision every day to show up, right? Another con is that you're only accountable to yourself. So it kind of ties back to the time piece where like you don't necessarily have somebody that's giving you directions. Like when you work for somebody else, the company's already established, so you're just following guidelines, you're following protocols that are already set. You are building them yourself. So, and sometimes you don't have that direction, or maybe you don't have the money to invest, right? To get the mentor or to get the coach to help you. So you literally feel like I said, it feels like you're like at the beginning of a jungle and you have no resources, no compass, no iPhone, no protractor, nothing to help you to get to the other side. And you have to figure it out and navigate. So I would say that's a con for sure.
All right. One of the pros is time. You had other pros, or that was the only pro? Time.
No, being able to work in my passion and being able to set my own schedule, as well as being able to connect with people and building generational wealth and building a generational legacy is the goal. So that's a pro for me, because in what I do, I'm helping others to build their own generational wealth, but I'm also building the legacy and generational wealth and breaking generational cycles for my family. So that's definitely a major, major, major pro for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. You gotta hold yourself accountable. So you're your own accountability partner. You don't have any accountability partners other than yourself?
Oh no, I found some. So so what I did was I found like-minded women. And so I have an accountability call every morning on Mondays, where we talk about our goals for the week and where we are and what we accomplished for sure. And then I have a business bestie. So what I did was I found the people, I found the tribe. And that's what I mean, where you kind of you're kind of on your own and you have to find the connection points. You have to find the resources. You don't necessarily get a whole map unless you pay for it, right? And sometimes it's like a 5-figure payment, right? So I found the right people to have in my corner from a support perspective, but I also invest in myself as well. So for last year, I promise you, my biggest expense from my for 2020 is definitely going to be like the learning and the investments that I put back in myself from a personal development standpoint, but also in regards to learning for my business.
All right, I like that. You on point with it. With it.
You got to be, just saying.
On point.
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's days where I be sitting in the car crying like, why me? Right? Because it becomes overwhelming. You know what I mean? But it's okay to have those days, but it's all about getting back up and wiping away the tears and be like, all right, what do I got to do next? You know what I'm saying? Like taking that one step to achieve whatever goal that is that you want to. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can't let that emotions stay built up and you got to let it out one way or another.
Right.
So people have their different ways.
Touch a tree.
Yeah. People have their different ways of getting their emotions out. So
Exactly.
So how did you get your start as an author? We talked about Warrior's Paradigm. I know that wasn't your first piece of literature. So how did you get started?
So Lisa Nichols was a game changer in my life. I watched a video of her back in like 2016, 2017 at like 1 a.m. I used to suffer with anxiety really bad. So I would just wake up and my mind would be going a mile a minute. So I used to just watch like motivational things to kind of bring me back down to zero. And I stumbled upon a Lisa Nichols video. And after that, I was like obsessed with her. So I went to her events, and then I went to one of her events. I volunteered at one of her events as well. And then I went to her speaking Right to Make Millions in Atlanta. And I ended up meeting 3 women. And that ended up being the first collaborative project that I was in with them. And so I wrote my first book, or I wrote my first chapter, Brand New Me. And we went to Cuba and all that within the package and stuff like that. And that was the first time that I became an author, a published author.
Around like what year was this, you say?
2018.
2018. Oh, it's only been 2 to 3 years since you got 16. Not 16. I don't know.
Oh, it's about to be 16. It's about to be 18. I'm not playing.
You about to have 18 books since 2018.
I'm dead serious.
You putting in that
I'm
work.
working on 4 right now. I promise you.
So,
like I just got a cover back, literally.
I know you mentioned school. Did you go to school? Did you go to school for English at
I
all?
did, but I didn't graduate. Don't judge me. I did not. I didn't graduate. It was I shifted my perspective because I had my son, and I was like, I need to get to the bag. So I was working 3 jobs at one point, and focused on getting my career to where I needed to be, so I could have financial freedom. And then I said I'll go back to school, but then I did entrepreneurship, and I haven't looked back since.
It's working out, so you figured out. You found the recipe. You found the sauce in the recipe, so
Listen,
no need
I was
to go
making
back.
6 figures with no degree. Just saying, so
You
it made it
found the
really
sauce
hard.
in the recipe.
Yeah,
No need to go cook for nobody else or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? No need to be in nobody else's establishment.
right. Yeah.
For real. Yeah, man, that's dope. Like,
Thank you.
what's the most rewarding part about being the author?
It's opened a lot of doors for me, from like interviews, opportunities to speak. It's connected me to so many individuals that I probably would have never met if I wasn't an author. And it also added a stream of income to my business. Because you sell books, people want to read them, right? But I used it as a tool to just expand my reach from a visibility standpoint, for sure. So it's just an added credential to get me to where I want to be.
All right, and you mentioned interviews. I typed your name in YouTube, and you had like quite a few interviews on platforms that's not yours. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Like people, you getting booked out here. You booked and busy. You
You
consider yourself
know,
booked and busy?
I hate to say try, but yes, I want to be where the money resides. Yes. Yes. Like I literally sometimes I have to be intentional and just take time off so I can focus on myself, because sometimes you can get distracted and get like engulfed in everything and then lose track of what it is that you need to get done. So I'm very intentional on who I say yes to. And I'm also very intentional on taking the time off from being booked and busy so that I can focus on what I need to do and not be distracted too. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, I feel you. Yeah, you had a lot of content up there. Like I was like, damn. You ever looked yourself up on YouTube?
I have, and I looked up myself on Google, and I was like, I'm Googleable. Oh my gosh, I felt like I accomplished. I was like, I was Beyonce for a second. I'm not gonna hold you.
You're a celebrity out here,
just in my own way.
Yeah, you got it, for real.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So you mentioned you're a speaker. What is your most significant speaking engagement that you've had to this day?
I would say the one that I did with Taria. I did New Year, New Me conference in January. Why it was a major deal was because it was the first time that I did a branding piece, or branding speaking engagement, or you know what I'm saying? Whereas before I focused solely on transformation. So I did business development and branding on the back end. And then I was like, I really enjoy it. So that's why I put it as my number one thing to do and niche down in regards to branding and business development. And it was amazing. It was the greatest experience. I got so many leads, and I impacted so many people, and it showed me the true need for what I do. So that was like my best, opportunity, to be very honest. It opened my eyes, for sure.
Shout out to Taria, Vision
She's
of Vaughn.
She's a whole vibe. Shout out to Urban CEO.
Episode 76. Yeah, shout out to Urban CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's on episode 76. That was a dope episode.
Yeah,
what was that? New Year, New Me was in Atlanta. Was it in Houston?
No, it was virtual.
It's virtual. All virtual.
Yeah, she is the conference. She is fire. Like Taria is a whole vibe, for sure.
Indeed. So you did your speech live, or was it like pre-recorded with like production and everything?
It was live.
It was live. When you speak, how do you prepare yourself to present yourself in front of an audience like that?
So to be very honest, I don't like to rehearse because I don't want to feel like I'm not connecting with people. So I'll get my points down, and I'll have PowerPoints as well if they require it. but I don't mind doing talking head like this. But I more prepare myself and just making sure that I'm clear on my content and making sure that I'm connecting with the audience and having them engage. Because when you have them engaged, it actually gets you more excited to share your information because you feel like people are actually interested. So I'm very big on putting like filler questions or putting a joke in there so that they feel connected to me and being authentically myself, but then at the same time giving them the knowledge that they need as well. So I keep my personality. I don't change. I'll never be like, hello, beautiful people. How are you? Thank you for listening to. That's never been. I'm like, hey, everybody. Like, you know what I mean? And that genuine and authenticity is what makes people connect to me and want people to actually spend their money with me and then be connected to me in any way that they possibly can. So that's how I prepare myself, honestly.
Yeah, I like the telling jokes part because it's telling jokes is like it makes me more comfortable if I'm out speaking.
Right.
I tell a joke, especially if they laugh. Now, if they don't laugh, then
then you got to make a joke about why they didn't laugh so that you didn't feel as awkward. Like,
no, that ain't funny, huh? Oh, y'all too serious in here tonight. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that'll hurt right there. Don't laugh. It gotta have that kick to it.
Right.
All right, so let's get into the podcast, Evolve. Let's briefly talk about that. I know in September you had like back to back 21 authors right there, right?
Yes. So what I did in September and October as part of the anthology project and a visibility piece for my authors, I recorded episodes for each of them based off of their chapter in the book from a marketing perspective, but also visibility for them to expand their reach. And so that's what that was. I have like 12 to 13 episodes that I need to drop, and I have like 19 people, I want to say, that are waiting for me to interview them. So I'm going to be scheduling those really soon. But I've been focused on relaunching the TV show, which will be tied to Evolve podcast. Because I had Evolve You that I set up with my cousin and branded it. But life happens, things happen. So I'm just relaunching it from a virtual standpoint because we would be in studio. I created an in studio in my house. I'm telling you, when I have the idea, I go all the way out.
One with the yellow?
Huh?
Was the one with the yellow?
With the yellow tops? Yes, exactly that part. That was in my house. I bought green screens, lighting, everything I recorded it with my iPhone, like literally. But she moved to Atlanta, so that clearly couldn't work. So I'm just revamping everything so it's tied back to my business, and it'll be aired on the KDCP Network, which is a TV network that I own with 3 other women as well. So the podcast, we have people that come on that talk about their transformational stories, whether you're an author, whether you're an entrepreneur, just an individual that have gone through different things in life and have overcome them. That's pretty much what we discuss on Evolve podcast.
All right. So KDCP, the C is for Chanel, or
how did you know? Good job.
What's the K? What's the K, the D, and the P? That's the other 3 names. What's
exactly that whole part. So it's Candy, Deborah, and Pixie. So it's Candy, Deborah, Chanel, Pixie. And I always had a vision when I did my original YouTube channel. I always had the vision of it being aired and creating my own network. And so when this opportunity came, like literally in my lap, I didn't go searching for it. I was like, absolutely, because it was always in my vision for my business to expand my empire. So it was perfect. So we're launching that we're in March, right? Within the next couple of months, we'll be launching the KDCP Network, and we'll have our own show collectively, but then I'll be airing Evolve on there, as well as having other individuals have their content aired on KDCP Network as well. It'll be on Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Samsung TV, Chromecast, LG TV. I feel like I'm missing Roku, Android TV, and there's other platforms, but it's not on top of my head. But yeah, so I'm excited about it for sure.
You're doing it big, huh?
Listen, I'm telling you, I came. My goal is to come and conquer. That's it. Like, that's it.
Got to download that. You said when? When is it launching?
So we're launching is set for the end of March or April. We're kind of figuring out our marketing strategy for that as we speak. So we have a meeting like literally tomorrow. But yes, definitely within the next 60 days for sure.
All right, where can we keep up with the status on that? There's an Instagram for that network as well.
So there's an Instagram. It's KDCP Network. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And then if you go to kdcpnetwork.com, you can join one of our informational calls if you are interested in having your TV show aired on the platform, or if you don't have a content and you're like completely new and you're just like, I want a TV show, we help you to do that as well. So I help with the branding piece for the TV show, and then we have a digital marketing professional, and then we have our chief media officer, and then our chief administrative officer. So yeah.
All right, how big do you plan to grow the family on KDCP?
Listen, we want to be everywhere. We want to be everywhere. We want to help others to build their own TV shows and expand their reach. And that was what was amazing for me, because I did it as an additive for my clients from a visibility piece, but also for my brand as well. So we want to have at least 15 to 20 shows on the platform within the next year and continue to grow from there.
All right. So was there a significance in the launch date of Evolve, the podcast, or?
It was more back to my perfectionism. I was like, I got my intro done. I got my my podcast cover done, and I did my podcast cover literally probably like 4 or 5 months prior. And I was just like, I do block interviews. So like I'll record like for 2 weeks straight and have and just do episodes for like 2 weeks, 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. and just interview guests or do shows solo. And I was just like, girl, like it's June. We need to get it done. And so I just dropped it. And that's the beauty of being able to be your own boss. You can do what you want. So you can just make a choice and make a decision today or tomorrow. Like, I'm going to make this happen now. So I wanted to be in the now action. So I just launched it.
You said you was doing shows solo?
So I do like solo episodes depending on the topic, or but honestly, I did way more guest episodes. I'm like, girl, like put yourself out there too. So I just did some solo episodes to be in the mix, if that makes sense.
What's your favorite episode of your podcast?
Oh wow. My favorite episode, I just recently in January, I recorded with comedian Jay Reed. I actually met him in Indianapolis in December. I went to one of his comedy shows with Bill Bellamy, and I was like, hey, and then he invited me backstage, and we had so much fun, and I met Bill Bellamy, and it was so much fun, and it was cool. And then he wanted to connect, so I was like, oh, I have my podcast. And so we did an interview, and I'm going to definitely release that either this coming Monday or the following Monday. He was my favorite interview for sure.
Okay. I was just listening to that Lead Her Shift movement.
Oh yeah. Dr. Dina.
Yeah. She was going in.
She is a beast. Dr. Dina. Oh my gosh. She is a beast. She took over Clubhouse. Like she is amazing. I love Dr. Dina. I love her. I would say that's my second favorite interview, because I ended up interviewing on her platform. First, she found me on Facebook. And from then we connected in ways that you could not believe. She's in both of my books, both of the anthology projects. She did the foreword on one of them, and she's a contributing author on The Our Truth Is Not a Lie. And she's just a game changer. She's amazing. So you're absolutely right. She goes in anytime she speaks. Anytime.
She was going in. She's talking about how she listens in the rooms and sees what they're talking about. And then she start talking about that stuff, find some way to talk about that stuff to add value to the room. So that's strategy right there.
Yeah, she's fire.
All right. So back to the author. What are 3 important factors that you feel that you need to have to be successful in authorship? If that's
Dedication, commitment for sure, because it's not like, I mean, I wrote one book in 48 hours, but that's because I did it in Taria's book camp. And it was a competition. I was like, I gotta win. So
shout out the Book Profits Club.
That whole part. So I wrote Maximum Evolution literally in 48 hours. I was like, I have to win. I don't care. But yeah, dedication to getting the project done and to the work that you have to put in, but commitment, because it's easy for you to just be like, oh, forget it. Or some people have books that they started 5 years ago and still ain't put it out yet, right? So being committed to the goal for sure. And then also giving yourself grace, understanding that nobody is perfect. So even if it did take you 5 years to do it, at least you did it, because there's some that took 10 and still haven't done it, right? So giving yourself grace and releasing the pressure that you sometimes put on yourself, for sure.
All right, great words of wisdom from Miss Chanel Spencer. Shout out to you and
Thank
everything you
you.
do.
Thank you.
Doing great things. Don't let
Thank you.
anybody tell you otherwise. So,
You're absolutely right.
you have any other advice for the listeners and viewers out there?
Absolutely. So what you have to understand, in anything that you want to do, there's going to be challenges, whether it's past challenges that you may have to overcome or face, right? But understand that you are human, and that as much as we want to be superhuman, that we are only human, and that you have to give yourself grace. And mistakes are sometimes beautiful because it shows you your area of opportunity in which you can grow, learn, and get to the next level, or prepare you for your next season. So understand that life happens, things happen, is what I say. That's my mantra at this point, because you can't control everything in life, right? But just give yourself grace, set goals, and achieve them, and just do it one step at a time. You don't have to get everything done tomorrow, but as long as you are in the now action and just achieving one goal every day, or taking that one step towards the goal, you're winning already.
You said something about now, right? I see you have now on the end of your Instagram name.
Yes.
What's the significance of that?
Because it's all about now action, not later. So like now, we need to do it now. Like it's no more, okay, 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is not promised. So be in the now action. And again, even if you do the minimal thing, the smallest step possible, like just being in gratitude, or meditating, or just writing that one sentence in your book, or accomplishing that one step to getting your LLC, whatever it is, just be in the now action, and you will see that you start things will start falling into place without you even having to like lift a finger sometimes. So just be in the now action.
How much are LLCs in the state of New York? I know it's different prices for different states.
200.
200. It's more in Texas. That's ridiculous, man. Texas
Really?
must have it's 300 in Texas.
Oh, listen, that's not my area of expertise, but I know some people register in other states because it's less.
Yeah, but
but you prefer to be registered in the state that you live in.
Tomato.
Exactly.
All right. So what else you have? Well, you already mentioned what you have planned for the future with the network. Anything else you want to share about the future?
Yeah, so I'm working on 4 books focused on my area of expertise that my goal is to get them done within the next 60 to 90 days. 2 are in the process of editing, so I'm excited about that. And then the other 2, I just need to, once I'm done with those, I'll focus on the other 2. It's just adding more to the package, I guess, to the bundle. I want to have a bundle. And then I'm working on digital products as well, because my goal is to make money while I sleep. So it's great having the one-on-one clients and the one-to-one touch and conversation. But when you could wake up and just have bread in your account and you ain't lift a finger. Yeah. So I want to working on digital products as well. And then I have my magazine that we'll be releasing within the next 60 days as well. And as I mentioned earlier, the TV network, and just working on my children's brand as well. So my children are published authors. They have 2 books that they released, 2 illustration books that I co-wrote with them, that was published in December. And then they have coloring books and puzzle books as well. So expanding, working on books for them. We have 3 titles that we already have, and 1 that we already wrote the content for. So that probably won't come till summer, because I have so much that I'm doing for myself. So yeah.
What's the name of the children's books? Taylor's Playhouse? Or?
Yes. So my children's brand is TJ Play World, which is a combination of their individual brands, which is Jalen's World and Taylor's Playhouse. So my daughter, she wants a YouTube channel. She's been saying it since she was like 2.5. So like we're working on getting that set up for her. She acts like she's doing like instructional videos by herself, like all the time. So I'm like, all right, well, let's make that happen for you. So, and we'll probably put her on the KDCP network as well.
All right, so it'll be content for all ages on there. Like,
yes,
that's
yes.
dope. That's dope.
Yes.
All right, you mentioned about networking. How important is that to you?
That's everything. Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, I need you to get on Clubhouse yesterday. That was
I'm on this
game changer. Like shout out to whoever invented Clubhouse. Like that was a game changer. I had to like take a break and a hiatus from Clubhouse, how obsessed I was. Like I'll be up at 7 a.m, like, oh my gosh, I need to be in this room. But I met so many people, and that showed the power of networking. because I met people from California. I talked to people that I would have never met outside of Clubhouse, like never, like in rooms, like we have best friends on Clubhouse. Like I'm going to be like, hey, Chanel, I'm like, hey, I feel like I have like a little family. So it's unreal. And the collaborations, and I've gotten clients off of Clubhouse. So networking is super important for sure. Absolutely.
All right, I got a room for you Monday through Friday if you're interested. It's in the morning time.
What time?
You in the Eastern time zones? It'll be 8 to 10 for you. It's 7 to 9 Central. It's called Hello Houston.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
can see you on that. Listen, I love club. I jump on the stage real fast, like hey. So I love to be a part of that.
Yeah, I have to ping you in there like Monday morning because it's a lot of dope people in there. Shout out to Andy Tebow, Tristan Holmes, I need Legacy Blue. She was in the comments earlier. You see Legacy Blue. She's the 3 moderators of that room, and it's a lot of good energy, a lot of entrepreneurship, networking going on in there.
I love that.
It's a lot of love shown. We recently had an interview in Houston last weekend on the Fivecast. So we was out there everybody was showing love. We was showing love back. Like it's a beautiful thing out there they have going on. Like for real. And I just want you to experience it yourself. For real.
Absolutely. I would be down to be on that for sure.
Because with that's our biggest Instagram audience right now. Houston. It's crazy. We're not even in Houston.
Right. Isn't it crazy? You're like, I didn't expect it to go in that direction, but hey, I'm not complaining. So you know
not at all.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So we mentioned you've been getting booked for interviews. How many times do you think you've been interviewed on other people's platforms?
Oh my gosh. At least 20 times minimum.
At least 20. And that was since 2018 or since when?
No, I would say since the end of 2019.
2019. Damn.
Yeah.
You getting it in. So this would be like 21. If it was 20, this would be 21.
Right.
Oh, it's a rough estimate. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got more to come for sure.
Thank you. I affirm that. Thank you. I appreciate
plenty more. Affirmations, manifestations, all that.
Yeah, all day. Listen.
So what's your favorite episode of 1409? Not this one. You can't say this one.
I know. I saw you had when you saw Will caught my attention and I watched his and Taria. Those two were the best. I watched the one that you had on March 3rd. Just to kind of see like what the vibe was, because it's different when you watch people that you know. I don't really know Will. Let me not even play myself, but I follow him on Instagram, so I feel like I know him, if that makes sense. Right. So yeah, those were the two that I like, because I'm connected to them in some kind of way, if that makes sense. And the girl that you interviewed the other day, she was cool. I liked her energy and her personality.
Yeah, shout out to Courtney Sachs. Yes. Yes. All right. I like that. Who would you like to see on 1409 in the near future?
I love Brother Ben X. He's like awesome. He's like a game changer. Lindsay Vertner, I was on her show. She has the Happy Hour show. She's awesome, and she like took over Clubhouse too. She has the Mindset Master Suite. She's awesome. Who else? Dr. Dina. She's a whole vibe for sure.
She was going in.
I'm telling you. But she's like, so she's very intellectual, but she's really down to earth. You know what I'm saying? So you don't feel like, ugh. So that's why you feel connected to her. Because she knows what she's talking about, and she is like a beast, right? But she's very like down to earth, and so it makes it like that much better. But those are the top 3 that I would think of.
All right. I'm feeling that. All right, so next we're gonna get into the question of the day. I know I was asking you questions all night, but
it's okay.
This is the question of the day. So here it is. What question do you have that nobody has been able to answer? Like give you a good answer to? What question do you have that nobody has been able to give you a good answer to?
In any way, like in any topic?
Yeah, like any question like you give the people and they can't give you a good answer to it.
Damn. That's hard because people always give good answers. Like I don't talk to people that are like, you know, like that aren't. I like to talk to people that's like ahead of me or like on the same playing field. I would say more of like more of like financial freedom questions.
Mhm.
Like what do I need to, clearly we can't make $1 million tomorrow. I mean, some can, but you know what I'm saying? What is the secret sauce to like really building generational wealth? I feel like that is a question that some people have challenges to answer if I asked it, because everybody has their own perception, right? And there
Mhm.
isn't a one step thing, essentially, right? Depending on what you want to do. So I feel like that's the question that gets really hazy when people answer it, and or it's not a very specific answer that I receive. It's like, you want me to build generational wealth with you? Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? I feel like
Mhm.
that's where that's the question that I feel I haven't gotten like a really good answer to. That I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that today. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
So if you feel like if they do a one step way to get $1 million in a day, hypothetically, you think they'd get that up for free?
Hell no.
They'll charge. We think they'll charge.
They'll charge, but like there's some people, like for me, I'm very big on abundance. So like, yes, I'm very big also on paying for people's knowledge. So that's why I said I'm very big on investing on myself, right? So I understand that there's a price for everything essentially, right? But there are those individuals that will share, like I'm one of those individuals. I'll share information because I'm very big on abundance. Just because I told you doesn't mean that sometimes they don't even action the thing you do tell them anyways, right? But like but I feel like that helps the flow of giving back and being in service. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that you owe me the answer to make $1 million tomorrow, right? Because you clearly have to do some work to get there. But I'm just saying in general, like when you go into certain rooms in Clubhouse, or if you go into certain, or I ask certain questions, it's like, it's not a direct answer, but I feel like that's part of the lack mindset too. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. That's a great answer. I don't really think I have a question that people don't give a good answer to. I can't really think of one
Mhm.
like off the top of my head, but
It's a hard question.
it
That's a
is.
hard question.
That shout out to Gualamise where he comes up with these questions of the days and they have you thinking out here. So
Right.
he's still here in spirit with this question of the day, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So that's that part. So we got the question of the day out the way. Let's get into this or that.
Mhm.
This or that. So my first this or that. You say you like to travel and everything, right?
Yes.
You like solo trips or vacations?
I like all of them. I
You
like
like
vacations, friendcations, solo trips, because sometimes you don't want to deal with people. You just want to be in hibernation.
mhm.
Mhm.
You travel do you travel internationally solo or
I've never traveled internationally solo. It's more flying, but then meeting people at the location. Like Thailand, my
mhm.
cousin flew from England, and then we met in Dubai, and then we flew to Thailand.
No, you see, I know you mentioned England earlier. I have some family in England. I haven't met them. They're Jamaican
Really?
too, so I have Jamaican and there's Jamaicans in England. So yeah, so
Mhm.
I have that in me too on
Yeah.
my father's
Yeah.
side. Yeah. So
That's crazy. That's cool. English, like English people are like amazing. Some are like snooty, but outside of that, they're like, when you hear the accent, they're just like a vibe. So
yeah, they like to
mhm.
say cheers a lot. I was
I
over there.
can't. No, they don't.
No, you were saying it to me.
They say, some might say cheers in a thank you way, but they're not like walking around just being like cheers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They said it to me. I don't know what it was, but I took a solo trip over there, and
Yeah,
then they called that money quid or something. I was like, "What the hell are you
quit.
talking
That's
about?"
the dollar.
Yeah,
That's it.
I
Like,
was a little lost for a second. I was like, I guess they're talking about dollars, so
yeah,
like 40 quid.
it's a
I was like,
pound.
okay,
It's a pound and quid. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's what I didn't really like the food over there though, in
Yeah,
London.
they're not known for their cuisine, to be very honest. No,
Uh,
not
and
even
then
close.
I got one dish that ended up having pork in it. I was mad as hell. Like I don't eat that shit. Like
Right.
I don't, yeah, the
Yeah,
food
they love
wasn't a
their
good
like,
experience.
yeah, no, they're not, they're definitely not known for their cuisine. Jamaica, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. But not, definitely not England. So the beauty was having Jamaican grandparents, you grew up with the cuisine. So they took it with them when they went to England. So yeah.
most definitely. All right, what's the other dish
Mhm.
that I had? We still can stay on traveling. You like City views or beach views? Well, you from the city, kind
Beach.
of. Beach views.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen the city view a lot your whole life, pretty much, right? So
Yeah, like city views are cool, but like the beach just gives a whole nother like level of just like calm and just environment and just like it's just I love it. Love it. Like I love going to the Caribbean islands and like just for sure. Mm-hmm.
all right, so I was gonna say one.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Okay, tequila or whiskey?
I already told you that tequila, Patron specifically.
All right. Let me
It's a strong second.
let me take tequila. Let me take tequila all the way out of there. Then. All right, vodka or whiskey?
Vodka, because I'm not a whiskey girl at all.
All right. You got any this or that for me or for us?
This or that?
Yeah.
Oh, would you prefer Mexican cuisine or Italian?
Damn. I like that pasta, man. But I like in Texas they got these breakfast tacos, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I gotta go to Mexican. I gotta go to Mexican, man. I like pasta, but I gotta go to Mexican.
Mm-hmm. Would you travel to Dubai or I was gonna say somewhere in Africa, but I changed my mind. So Dubai or Curacao?
Dubai or where?
Curacao.
I never heard of that.
You never heard of Curacao? It's an island. It's beautiful.
What's it near?
Aruba.
Also over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll choose that because I already been to Dubai, so I'll choose that. If you would have said Africa, I would have went to Africa because I haven't been there.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've been to Dubai. It's dope though. I want to go back, but I want to go somewhere I've never been first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which one
would you do? Mountain climbing or parachute jumping?
I already did the parachute, so I'm going to mountain climb.
So clearly you're adventurous. So
yeah, I'll do the mountain. I feel like the mountain's gonna be more dangerous than the parachute, honestly. But I'll do the mountain.
The mountain.
What about you?
I would jump out of a plane.
All right, it's fun. You don't get that feeling like your heart about to drop out the chest. Well, I didn't have it. It's just like you out there in the air.
I've never done it before, but that's something I definitely want. That's definitely on my bucket list for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad for me. It just your anxiety probably built up. I was out there chilling. I got the video. Back to the other one. What was your answer for the last one?
Which one?
The one about Dubai or
Curacao?
Yeah, Curacao.
I would go back to Curacao. Okay. I feel like everybody has gone to Dubai, so I'm just like, I would go back to Curacao. I like to go to places that most don't know or won't go, if that makes sense.
Man, I definitely didn't know because I was like, what?
It's a beautiful island. It's just expensive, but it's a beautiful island for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I appreciate you joining the 1409. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with 1409. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I was excited and honored when you asked, and I was like, absolutely. Like I felt your energy, and I watched Taria's episode, and I was just like, this is great. And I like what you're doing, and I like what you guys are about, and how you are just showing up as your genuine selves, and that's like major for me. So I was absolutely excited and honored when you asked, for sure.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not out there trying to be nobody else because you got to stay in character. Somebody kept you in your normal character, you're gonna be like, who is that?
Right.
I'm like this. This is me all the time. Like,
right. That was the beauty of resigning, because I no longer had to code switch, as they call it, and just I could just be me. It's great. It's free.
Freedom, personal freedom, financial freedom, all of that.
All of that.
I feel all that. All of that. You said I didn't do it right. All of that.
All of that.
All of that.
I don't realize that I have an accent until other people try to speak.
I mean, you don't think you have one because you heard it your whole life, but
Right.
it's not as heavy as others I've heard, but you
Right.
still got it. I
Yeah.
guess upstate got rid of it a little bit.
I can't. It just depends on like where you live. Like Long Island has an accent, Brooklyn, like everybody has their own kind of like twang in the way that they say certain things. So it just depends on where you live and what you do. I just coach, like I know how to turn it on, like, you know, and be professional. I didn't turn on my like Pop Smoke voice, like, you know what I'm saying? Lingo.
Go ahead, turn it on.
No, you're not about to catch me.
All right,
Like,
off
you know what I'm
air,
saying?
off air. Do it off air.
What happened?
Do it off air.
Do it over air.
Yeah, you gotta do it off air then.
You know, you gotta be, you know, when you like talking about your woo life and all that other stuff. Yeah, just vibing out. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. KDCP Network.com. I'm gonna check that out. You want to plug your business ventures in one time before we get out here?
Absolutely. So if you want to download my free ebook, you can go to buildingbrandsnow.com. If you want to connect with me on Instagram or Facebook, it's at Chanel Spencer Now. And I'm very big on Instagram. I love Instagram. And I'm on
Building Brands.
Building Brands Now.
Oh, everything.
And then if you go to Clubhouse, my name is Chanel Spencer. I couldn't add the now, or else it would be there too.
It's too long.
Yeah, so upset. But yes, so I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Chanel Spencer or Chanel Spencer Now. And if you want to download my ebook, you can go to buildingbrandsnow.com.
All right, yeah. Make sure y'all tap in with a follow on Instagram, Chanel Spencer Now. Follow Maximum Evolution on Instagram.
Yes, follow Maximum Evolution too. Absolutely.
Go to buildingbrandsnow.com. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got ChanelSpencer.com too.
I got ChanelSpencer.com. I got ChanelSpencerNow.com. I have domains for days. I get an idea and I buy the domain. I don't care.
Literally. Yeah, I learned that idea off the Clubhouse too. You know, they got the .club domain that people are trying to tap into now too.
Right. Gotcha.
But it's been out since 2014. But now that Clubhouse is out, people are trying to
absolutely
conquer that.
Yep.
All right, so you know you can find 1409. We on Nobody Grinds Like Us Network. Always press record TV. Download the Fire Stick app or the Roku app. You can find our video versions of our episode on there, as well as on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get to that 1,000. We over halfway there, but you know, we'll get there when we get there.
Absolutely.
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all of that. Follow us on Instagram, 1409 Podcast, Twitter, 1409 Podcast. And you can follow me on Instagram at 843 Ambassador. Follow Guala Meets World on Instagram as well. The other half of 1409. Make sure you download this music. And Scrooge video out now. New videos coming soon. New music coming soon. You got anything else before we get up out of here, Miss Chanel Spencer? Miss Spencer?
I don't have anything more. This has been amazing, and I will definitely come back. And I'm super excited for you guys and what you have going on. And it's only up from here. So
already. Thank you. All right. We bold, boisterous, and blunt, well connected, well respected. It's the 1409 Podcast, and we out.